Okay, so I want to talk about the V-Jump leaks that we got, and it's going to be an interesting video, but before I get into it, I want to give a big shout out to Talon for the translations. And in a previous video, I went over if they could potentially be better than the Broly, and to be honest, I don't think that any unit that is part of this particular batch is going to be better than the Broly, but there are very, very good units in this batch. Especially the Gohan. I think the biggest question was, what is his main ability going to be? And I think we finally got some actual evidence suggesting what it is going to be after all. So let's go ahead and get into it. But I hope you guys are having a great day. As always, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff if you are new. We get the Ginyu up as well. So I personally place him in this order. I think Ginyu is the worst out of all of them, but again, just because he's the worst of the batch doesn't necessarily mean that he is bad by any means. We have Final Form Frieza as well as the Kid Gohan. Now, I'm actually give me a second. Okay, so need to get this page up real quick just so I have, you know, the sparking units in order when it comes to certain stats. So when it comes to the Captain Ginyu, it was confirmed that he is going to have body change. Now, I'll go over to the scan, and basically what it's telling you, and this is a strategy that, you know, I would imagine quite a lot of people thought of before the actual announcement of the Ginyu. So, Guldo has an ability that allows him to temporarily freeze an opponent for a moment of time, and what they are basically telling you here is that you should use Guldo's ability to freeze the opponent and then use the body change. And like I said before, this Ginyu does have the body change. The hero Ginyu has body change, and I initially thought it was going to be like any regular game with the body change. You just simply switch characters, right? But the way that it works in this game is interesting. Pardon me. And the way that Talon explained it, and the thing that makes the most sense is, so Ginyu gets the main ability. Right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. He gets the main ability, which is the body change. He uses the body change. So Ginyu goes from Ginyu to Goku. He pierces himself. So if you go back to the anime, he punches himself in the chest, right, making him extremely weak. And then he switches back to Ginyu. So you have the Goku here with full health, body change, and now the Goku has like next to no health. So by the looks of it, it isn't a killing blow, but it does do a ton of damage. Now, I am very curious to see how this differs with different types and such. I wonder if this ability is capable of getting past the type disadvantages and neutral typings. I wonder if it does the exact same amount of damage against every single unit. That is definitely the thing that I want to see the most. But I suppose the good thing about the Ginyu is that he does have multiple units supporting him. If we go over to the Ginyu Force tag real quick and just get these units up, honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're most likely going to end up running all of them. So if we take a look at the Z ability, Blast Defense, 18%, Berta, Strike Defense, 18%. So they all do different things. 18% Strike Attack, 18% Blast Attack, and the Ginyu, 21% to Critical. So there are multiple different units that vastly increase the stats for every single area across the board, which is massive. So this could potentially be a viable team. Ooh, unique ability, -5 to own special arts cost. I really do wonder if this can be a viable team. -5 again. Deals more damage to Saiyans, which of course is perfect. What about the Jace? -5. Own strike counts to own blast. Arts cost. See, I suppose the biggest issue with this is, and of course this Ginyu does have body change as well, but I would imagine it's going to do way less damage. I think the biggest thing is going to be how effective are these hero cards going to be? Because if they were extreme units, this could potentially be one of the best teams in the game. Easily, right? But because they are heroes, I feel like that is going to drastically bring them down. at level 1000, how much health? See, if we were to compare it with someone like, say the Frieza, for example, health. To be fair, it's not that much higher. I mean, when it comes to strike attack and such, I suppose it's not that much lower. There is a bit of a difference there, but because these units have so much synergy, that could make up for the fact that, I don't know, we're gonna have to wait and see, of course. But the point is, you can make a team that has a ton of synergy with these guys. So that is the main ability. Pretty much explained. It's the body change. It definitely is putting the point across that you want to use the other members of the Ginyu Force to guarantee that you do in fact pull off this whole what do you call it? This a whole body change mechanic. The other stats are fairly average. His health isn't necessarily all that high, but of course this is without soul boosts, I would imagine. Blast attack, blast defense. I think defenses are relatively low. If we quickly refer to this, his blast defense is average, his strike defense is average, but that is where the other members of the Ginyu Force come in. He has higher health, he has high critical, he has a high key restore speed. I personally think that Goku, at the very least, should have been an extreme unit. There's still a high chance that they are going to make some members of the Ginyu Force extreme units down the line, right? I kind of would have expected them to do that sooner, but I suppose we are going to have to see. But I think to really judge how good a Ginyu is, we are going to have to see how much this body change actually does in terms of damage. Because if it does like half a bar of health, it's not worth doing. And if it's not something that can get past the type disadvantages and just the typings in general, I think that is where we could potentially counter a few issues with the Ginyu. And it's a bit of a shame because I was definitely looking forward to using him. I initially saw in a subreddit that the way that his ability works is he swaps the character health, right? But that's not the case at all from what we can see. But again, it's going to come down to how much damage you can actually do with this ability, because his other stats are... See, I say his other stats are kind of weak, but when you combine him with the other Ginyu Force members, he could actually be pretty good. So, again, it's something that we are simply going to wait for. I don't think this has a release date. Most likely when the other banner goes, which is in around 3 weeks or so. We're just going to have to see. Right, so now moving on to the final form Frieza. And like I said, when I made my video, his card wasn't necessarily complete entirely, but now I think that we are kind of putting some things together, so I think we have a better understanding of what he can do overall. We still don't have his Z ability, but most likely isn't going to be anything special. His main ability draws an ultimate card, like the Super Saiyan Goku, like the Broly. His special deals major damage and causes enemies to take 15% more strike damage. And the thing about characters that aren't Saiyans right now is that they just simply don't have that much synergy with the units around them. For example, Piccolo. The reason why he's so good is because he is just incredible defensively, but he still doesn't have that much synergy with the units around him. And Frieza is most likely going to be the same as Pikkon, but better, right? He is basically a better version of the Pikkon. So, think about the Frieza. Again, big shout out to Talon for the translations. Is he has a very similar... Well, I wouldn't say similar, but it kind of has something like the Broly with his giant claw, I believe it's called. So his main ability, right, is capable of drawing the card, and from what I can tell, his special arts card, which is the green one, immobilizes opponents temporarily. And we quickly take a look at the first one Frieza, I believe it is, which is the extreme one. Why can I not find him? Extreme Frieza, where you at? How can I not find him? Is he not here? Am I blind? Okay, there we go. First one Frieza. Immobilizes enemy. So that is what Frieza has as well. It's not his main ability. Because of course, I mean, they could change it still, right? But of course, just by looking at this, his main ability is he gets to draw the card, and that's the Death Catastrophe, which I believe is this move that he's doing here, but it could change. And I would imagine that his regular special attack is just the finger beams. So what Frieza has is the ability to immobilize, and it's something that allows you to combo into other extremely powerful attacks, which is dope. And the good thing about Frieza is that he is going, you know, like the Gohan and the Pycon, is that he is going to be a great counter for Vegeta, who just is capable of hitting extremely hard. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the Frieza. I feel like he could have been a bit better. I feel like he will get better down the line when they introduce more units that he has more synergy with, like Cooler, for example, like King Cold. They just need to introduce more units, even Lord Slug, of course. They need to introduce more units like that just make this Frieza stronger. But again, we don't know the Z abilities for any of these Frieza units, which could drastically improve how good the Frieza actually is overall, because those Z abilities make a massive difference. Like I was saying before, synergy is such a big thing when it comes to this game. So, Gohan, I believe I predicted, but my guess was that he was going to get a massive attack increase, just because it's Gohan, right? He has the rage, and he gets a massive 50% increase to strike attack. Again, big shout out to Talon, and I said in my previous video that because of the synergy that he is going to have with other units, and of course he's a Saiyan, right? It's freaking Gohan. He's a sparking unit. He has one of the highest strike attack stats in the game. I believe it's slightly lower than the Frieza. Let's have a quick look. So, strike attack, 22,000. Oh. The exact... Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, what? That can't be right. So, for the Frieza, it is 29,000. And the Gohan, it is 28,000. So, really not that much lower. And because he is a Saiyan, he has that Saiyan tag, right? He doesn't have that Saiyan tag. Gohan, what have you done? Kids, male sparking. That could be an issue. He is a yellow type character. That could... See... Fight that. Critical is not worth running still. I feel like despite... Okay. Despite not having... That's kind of dumb to me, not gonna lie. Sun family. The, like... Not quite there. That's actually a shame. I still feel like he's gonna be decent, but not as good as he could have been, because he is barely gonna, you know, have any increases from the units around him. But the good thing is, he is... See, I still feel like he is going to be an S tier unit based on how good the Vegeta is. Because if we take a look at the abilities that we do know, his Z ability gives him, you know, 14% to mixed blood Saiyan health, right? So that's pretty dope. Major thrust damage to own, and a 20% increase to own strike damage. His special card, an additional 20% to own strike and blast damage. And then he also gets 50% from his main ability. It's very likely that he is going to be stronger. Could he be stronger than Vegeta? Let's have a quick look. Because we are definitely going to be able to tell from stats alone. So, here's blast attack 29,000. 28,000 here. Gets 50%. Gohan gets 50% as well. Does 20% more damage against Super Warriors, which is rarely going to happen. Gallic Gun 15%. 15%. So technically, the Gohan could be stronger than him because he gets 40% instead of 30% from these, you know, abilities. But again, the chances of you getting either of these cards and using them with these particular units is extremely situational. But from the card alone, without any outside increases from the abilities and such, the Gohan is technically stronger. But if we do take into account the abilities and such, it could definitely make a difference, because Gohan is a hybrid Saiyan. Of course, it was leaked that we are going to potentially get a Super Saiyan Gohan down the road, and of course he is going to be a hybrid Saiyan. We just need to see a few more hybrid Saiyans, because there are a ton. There's adult Gohan, there's teen Gohan, there is the Trunks, you have Kid Trunks, Goten, Pan. There are a lot of possibilities in the future. Right now, Gohan is going to be one of the best cards in the game, perfect for countering Vegeta, and I feel like that alone is going to put him in S tier for sure. I definitely feel like right now, despite not having the best outside increases, Gohan is one of the best cards in the game. I think that he is the best card of the batch, but we are going to have to see. But he is barely behind when it comes to, you know, comparison to that Frieza strike attack. Gohan is going to have an ability that gives him a massive 50% increase for like 25 seconds, perhaps something along those lines. But the big selling point is that 50%. But I really want to see what team is going to be best for him, especially if you don't have the Broly. When it comes to how good they are in comparison to the Broly, after learning these things, Broly is still the best card in the game. If I was to personally rank them, it's tough. So I personally feel like Gohan belongs in S tier. Frieza, I feel, belongs at low of S tier, maybe top of A. And when it comes to the Captain Ginyu, low A, high B. That may be, honestly, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to put him in A. And the reason why I say that is because of the insane potential increases that he could be getting from the other Ginyu Force members. But again, we are going to have to see how certain characters play. I am hoping that at the very least I can pull the Gohan or the Frieza, or just any of them would be nice. I really want the Gohan now. Initially I really wanted the Ginyu, but now it's like, no, I want the Gohan. Right, well, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, big shout out to Talon. Had a lot of fun just going over these units and kind of breaking down what each one can actually do. And it's crazy to see how just one thing can define the character. Well, I say it's one thing, but the Gohan's ability to get a massive 50% attack honestly just blew me away. I kind of expected him to get something like that, but I was still a bit cautious. But he did end up getting a massive 50% in the end, which is ultimately what makes him the best unit, of the batch, in my opinion. But again, we are going to have to see how to perform. I feel like Ginyu has a bit of hidden potential there. I feel like if he didn't have hero units around him, he could have been better. I don't know why they didn't make him extreme, right? But it is what it is. Like I said, hope you enjoyed. Of course, leave like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you all in the next one.